Welcome back to Comic YOUniverse, the only nerd-centric thing in your life. And DPZ rolling solo once again with another comic review. And once again, this is another comic graced to us by Mount Vernon Kid. Chris, hope you're watching and enjoy this. And today I'm going to be reviewing Bushido, The Way of the Warrior. Now you may be thinking, yes, this is obviously a samurai comic. This was done by Image. And yeah, it's a little different from that. You see, the title of this comic doesn't give a lot away. In fact, it's actually samurai versus vampire. And it's not like Zhengxi, Japanese or Chinese vampire descent. It's more medieval, it's more European vampires. So the story is, actually, when I was reading this, I was kind of thinking to myself, wow, this is a lot like, the 47 Ronin movie with Keanu Reeves. Because it's literally a young boy who is abandoned after. In this story, it's a young man who's named Kishiro, which means Japanese lucky, and his family was slaughtered by vampires, and he survived the shipwreck. And a samurai who already had a son took him and raised him to be a samurai. But due to becoming, due that he was an outsider, he was never allowed to be one. But his brother Orochi not only is made into a full-fledged samurai, but also given the hand of the shogun's girlfriend, the shogun's daughter, who is also Kichiro's lover. Yeah. So this comic, first and foremost, the artwork in here is amazing. The artwork is done by Studio Hive. They had actually done artwork for other independent comics, like another comic I enjoyed called City of Dust. City of Dust, the Philip Crome story, which was written by Steve Niles. And that story has some really good artwork. It's pretty much a monster version of Blade Runner. That's the best way I could describe it. But going back to this, the writer Rob Levin wrote this story with a lot of cool gore and action in here. Again, this is not a comic for everybody. This is very much a gory story. There is sex involved, but yeah, the artwork in here is fantastic. There are just some, especially the final page of the comic. That is a beautiful That is a beautiful picture. I'd love to have that as like a poster even on my wall. The story is kind of weak again. Like I felt like it's kind of funny because I had actually caught some of the movie 47 Ronin on FX the other day, and I was like, man, I don't know what it is, but and I know this came first. I'm well aware that this comic came first, but I just couldn't help but think of that awful Keanu Reeves movie. Thank God for John Wick, or his career would have been really dead. Anyway, so that was the thing. The writing is kind of weak because there's just the dialogue in here just feels meh. Like, and I also get the feeling that the writer didn't he clearly did some research, but I don't think he understands the full amount, the full spectrum of the Way of the Warrior. Like, he only did like surface level studying of the Way of the Samurai, Bushido. There is some great effects in here. There is some really good action, but this feels more like something out of a Spawn comic in that it's more picture over story. It's very much picture over story. Kichiro, as well as Mitsako, his lover, the shogun's daughter, their love story is just kind of like, alright. And the same with the rivalry with his brother Orochi. All of that really feels kind of just eh. And also, even though this is called Volume 1, I haven't seen a Volume 2. And honestly, like, the way it ends is very much like, well, I don't think you need to do more. Like, this could easily be like a volume, there doesn't need to be a Volume 2, because I think you solved everything in Volume 1. Yeah, I don't mean to sound like I'm bashing this comic, it's just, and the concept is really cool. Having, I've always enjoyed whenever you cross something over with something else. And the idea of samurai taking on a group of vampires who have essentially come to the Edo era of Japan, like the early age of Japan, to conquer it and basically have an island to rule over. It's a neat idea. Like, logistically, like, it wouldn't work because at that point Japan was getting on the world stage soon. So I don't know how that would have worked. But yeah, it's a neat idea of vampires being like, rather than be like, no, we're not going to do the whole, oh, we're the secret power behind the power, or some shit like that. The vampire clan is essentially like, no, fuck it, we're going to go over and take over Japan, rule it. We're going to rule Japan, and we're going to turn the human race into cattle on the island. Which made me go, okay, but there's only an X amount of people living in Japan, and yeah, that's kind of difficult. Also, you're only attacking Nippon, which is a territory in Japan at this moment. So, what if the other? I know all the shoguns and what have you are kind of warring with one another at this point in this era of Japan. But yeah, there's more of them than there are of you. So while it was a cool concept in theory, I feel like there are some plot holes in here that could have been worked a little better. And I hate to sound like I'm dissing this because Chris sent this and I love you from the bottom of my heart. But this, I was like, it's cool picture over story, but still, I feel like the way the handles the characters, I don't feel for, and there is some great action, but this is one of those art over. I feel like this was one of those art over story kind of things. Really, it really did feel like art over story. So yeah, if you're looking for this, I don't know, like, if you're looking for something out there, and I'm always out there for I'm always in for out there ideas, and for that, I give this comic, some good credit. But, yeah, I don't know if this is worth full price. I would say, like, if you can find, like, at a bargain, I would say give it a look, because in theory, in concept, this is a good story. But I wouldn't spend too much on this. So, again, Chris, I don't mean to sound like I'm dissing you because, you did this out of the out of the goodness out of the bottom of your heart, so I don't want to sound like I'm dissing you. I don't mean any disrespect at all, brother, but I'm just kind of like, just wasn't this, there were some cool ideas here, but I feel like the execution the execution wasn't good. Like, they didn't hit the mark, is what I'm saying. So anyway, there's my review for Bushido Way of the Warrior. Comment below, let me know what you guys thought of it, and if you're new here, remember to Hulk smash that subscribe button and be a part of Earth's Mightiest Subscribers. I'm DPZ, and on behalf of everyone here at Comic YOUniverse, we will see you right here once more here in the Universe.